Hello, and welcome to the first ever 2022 broadcast. I'm Adrian Sanchez, and this is SpartanTV. Let's look at today's most important stories. COVID is in the air and more contagious than ever with the new variant, Omicron. According to scientists, Omicron is as deadly as the Delta variant. However, this does not mean that Omicron isn't dangerous. Spartan TV was able to speak with Mrs. Hufford, the president and head of Miami Country Day.
So, do you think masks have an impact on students' relationships?
So I think that, do I think masks have an impact on student relationships? I think COVID has had has had big consequences for student relationships, for human relationships in general. I think especially for students, the last 2 years have been extraordinarily stressful. If you're not able to interact with your peers the way you always have. At the same time, masks have allowed us to be in school. And as I was saying to you a little while ago, if we weren't wearing masks, we wouldn't have been able to have school in person. And without in-person school, we would have seen much more dire consequences for students, for academic performance and achievement, for relationships, for emotional and social well-being. So there are enormous consequences of COVID that masks have been able to mitigate. And nobody enjoys wearing them, and I'm not wearing mine right now because we're in this interview, but I know that it has been a really important factor in keeping school open. And so at the end of the day, that has helped us. You have to weigh that against the negative impact of masks.
You're talking about stress. How do you think students can make school less stressful during the pandemic?
Well, I think that especially when you're spending a lot of time online, I think it's important to get outside. Get outside as much as you can. And in wonderful Miami climate, I think doing that it's not impossible, and it is, in fact, right now the weather is so gorgeous, I want to be outside all day. And when we're with one another, and when we're sharing good times, and we're sharing shared emotional connections, that's what makes us feel good. Nobody knew what we were doing, right? Nobody knew what we were getting into, right? So 2020, March of 2020, I thought I was putting school online for 3 weeks. It was months, right? I don't regret anything, and here's why: because we all did the very best we could, and we did. I am superbly proud. I cannot tell you how proud I am of this faculty, the teachers, the staff, the administrators in this school. Worked day in and day out just to make sure that we could get our students first in an online education, and then to make sure that we could keep school open. And it's still happening.
What are your hopes for the future?
Gosh, my hope for the future is that we're going to be maskless and that we're going to be safe while being maskless. I will always make the decisions that, with the advice of my amazing team, always make the decisions that are in the best interest of the school and in my informed opinion. But that's what I hope, and I hope that every single one of you, every single student, every single teacher and staff member knows that they belong here, that they are valued here, and that we're going to keep school open and safe.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Thanks, Zayden and Gabriel. It was really nice to get Mrs. Hufford's perspective. Let's take a look at Micah and Grayson's report on COVID on campus.
We all know that COVID is a big deal, but how has it affected school? According to Miami-Dade, the COVID positivity rate here in Miami is 16%, which is quite a big percentage. We know everyone has struggled with COVID, so we asked some teachers and students how it has affected them.
Because a lot of people have been getting infected.
A number of my classes involve wind instruments. Those are instruments where you create a sound by using your breath.
I feel that at Miami Country Day School we've been really lucky.
And I will say it's very hard.
Falling back on work, which leaves them in a very difficult position to catch up.
You can imagine that this is problematic. And I have to give massive props and respect to all my students. You are awesome. Thank you.
The pandemic has not stopped our educational activities at Miami Country Day. I spoke with Mr. Fallick on the Holocaust Remembrance Day, a day that will certainly help us all to remember history. Let's take a look. Hi, Mr. Fallick.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, why do you think it's important to continue teaching these topics about the Holocaust?
Well, there's an old expression that says that if we don't learn from history, we're bound to repeat it. And this is one of the most horrible tragedies in world history. A tragedy that many in our community have been personally touched by, myself included. And so it's important that everybody learns these lessons so that we don't repeat this history.
And do you think it was bold of the people who came to speak about it? Do you think it was bold of them? And that it might have been hard for them?
Yes, they are incredibly brave. Many of them we've hosted several times, and they spend a lot of their time traveling around telling their stories to children and other groups. It is very hard for them, but they do it anyways because they recognize how important it is to share these stories.
And what do you think is the biggest takeaway from the Holocaust Remembrance Day and them coming to us and talking about their past stories?
I think sometimes learning history can be, it can feel so far away. You learn about things in history, it feels like it happened to someone else, it happened somewhere else, it happened so long ago. How does it affect me? And I think having our children speak with survivors, it personalizes it. You realize that these are human beings that were affected, hearing it from their mouths, their point of view, what they saw, what they felt, what they experienced. And it makes history more tangible. It makes students understand it more. It develops empathy. The students are better able to see through their eyes. And I think that's key to learning and appreciating history.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
We would like to thank Mr. Fallick for organizing this event for the 8th grade. Now, let's get a report on sports with Caitlin Dahl.
Hi, I'm Caitlin for sports on SpartanTV. On Monday the 14th, the JV and varsity girls lacrosse team play against the Cardinal Gibbons. On Tuesday the 15th, the middle school girls and boys tennis team play against Divine Savior. The varsity girls and boys tennis teams play against Marathon. The varsity girls softball team plays against Horeb Christian. The varsity boys lacrosse team plays against Oxbridge Academy. On Wednesday the 16th, there are no games. On Thursday the 17th, the varsity boys and girls tennis teams play against Palmer Trinity. The varsity girls lacrosse team plays against Key West, and the varsity boys lacrosse plays against Palmetto High School. On Friday the 18th, there is no school and there are no games. We're talking to Jalen Belton, the athlete of the week. So how does it feel to be the athlete of the week?
It feels really nice and it's great. It's a great opportunity because you get a lot of compliments and teachers that recognize you. And it's also a good opportunity because I'm new to this school and I just started playing varsity basketball, so it feels really good.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to play basketball?
I'd say, this is goes for all sports, but I'd say be very dedicated to what you're gonna do because it's a lot. You're gonna deal with a lot and you're gonna have to handle with it.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Go Spartans! Let's get the weather report from Leah Denane.
Thanks, Adrian. We just came out of a massive cold front with temperatures that dropped to 55 degrees. It hasn't been that cold in over a decade. The cold winds moved in from the north, which caused Miami to have record low temperatures. This week, though, will be much warmer, thankfully. Sunday the 13th will have temperature of 74 degrees with a 23% chance of rain. It will be partly cloudy for most of the week, though. Monday will be at a temperature of 72 degrees with a 7% chance of rain. Tuesday will be 74 degrees with a 7% chance of rain. And Wednesday will be a bit warmer with a temperature of 76 degrees with 18% chance of rain. Thursday will have a temperature of 78 degrees with 24% chance of rain. Friday will also be at 78 degrees with a 21% chance of rain. Saturday will be the warmest day of the week with a 79 degrees and a 16% chance of rain. And finally, Sunday will be at 78 degrees with a 20% chance of rain. And now is the weather for the week. Back to you, Adrian.
Thanks, Leah. And now let's take a look at what's going on at the Innovation Center.
SpartanTV wanted to see how the Gardner Center for Innovation helps students make, create, and innovate.
What is your vision for the Innovation Center?
My vision for the innovation in the future is funny because the vision that I have and Ms. Hoswell, we were sitting down talking one day, how ironic that we were both on the same page with the vision that we were having for the makerspace here. My vision is to have the kids come in, and this was something that came to me one night. I woke up out of my sleep and I was like, oh, make, create, and innovate. So I came back to work the next day and I shared it with Ms. Hoswell. So having them come in and being able to do that and be able to work hands-on, and like she stated earlier, project-based learning, which is a lot of what we're doing right now, and seeing them grow and try to get the technology, the robotics, all of our programs through the divisions all on the same level is my goal and my dream.
As Ms. Fulton said, our visions, along with our head of school, our head of information technology, Ms. Fulton, myself, this vision is for a space that students can come and create, can problem solve, can troubleshoot. We're going to do programming and robotics, pre-K 3 through 12. And we set the stage so that when students go into classes, they have already been introduced to some of those programs. What we do here never replaces a class, but it sets the stage for success. Students get to use hands-on, build 3D models, build robots, program robots, and that this can go pre-K through 12 is just an amazing thing. And we want this space, so the Innovation Center itself, to really be a space that as soon as you walk in, this was created by students, that will have student work and interactive things for students to touch, interact with, and problem solve as soon as you come in this space. This says it best, that you come to the Innovation Center to make, create, and innovate.
Although we live here in Miami, where else would you go? Let's get that question answered with Ashton Michaels.
If I could go anywhere in the world, I would love to go to Japan. I would really like to learn the language and try out their food.
If I could travel anywhere in the world, I would want to go to the Maldives because the water is really pretty and they have really good food and really cool private islands.
I would go to Ireland because I'm really, really Irish, and I would love to see where my family members are from and just kind of walk around and see all the cliffs, and I think it would be really cool.
If I could go anywhere in the world, I would go to Vatican City. I've already been there before, but it's really nice, and they have the biggest church in the world, and it's the smallest country in the world. Also, the Pope lives there.
I would go to France because I really want to know about the French culture. I also want to see the Eiffel Tower because I heard there's some amazing sights there.
Amazing intro, Ashton. I loved hearing people's opinions. Well, that just about wraps up this episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you liked this episode, stay updated with our social media page. I'm Agent Sanchez, and we'll see you next time.